whoa. Did you do junior high? And you go, okay, you got me. I mean, they assume you know what you're doing at the lower level at that point, if you have a CCNA. So, again, more on the CCNA and CCNT. I've got their own dedicated slides. What I want to talk about here is who would use a CCENT and who would use a CCNA, and then, what is the exam certification expiration policy? Explain all that. So, first and foremost, I am convinced everybody would use a CCENT and CCNA, and I'm biased. I will fully admit that, because everybody needs to know a little bit of networking. CCENT, first off, came out to really, I don't want to say compete with, but compete with the old Net Plus exam. Anyone ever seen like A Plus? I'm sure you've heard of A Plus certification, Net Plus. It's all by a vendor called CompTIA, which is great. CompTIA is awesome. But Net Plus is a completely vendor neutral. The same thing with A+, completely vendor-neutral way of talking about, for instance, networks. And it's very difficult because you kind of learn IP addressing, you learn cabling, but you say, well, what kind of cable management do you use? Well, here we don't talk about the specifics. Nobody wants to say, yeah, grab some Panduit cable management, because that's a specific vendor. Or they might throw that as one of many. And nobody wants to talk about Cisco in NetPlus because that's specific. They just want to talk about, yeah, there's this router. Well, how do you set up the router? Well, yeah, you just do. Right? Because you can't talk about it in the NetPlus. So Cisco said, good grief, let's come out with CCENT, which gives you most of what NetPlus without all the historical token ring, DECnet, all those kind of things. And let's talk about real world, what you need, and then let's apply it to Cisco specific devices. Like here's how you set up a Cisco switch, here's how you set up a Cisco router. What I would say is if you want a CCENT and you just want to stop there, you are just looking at this point for a basic, broad overview of what networks are and how to work with them. Really, Cisco came out with the CCNT, as I mentioned, to compete with NetPlus. Not compete, coincide with NetPlus. But also to get into the Network Academy and to get into high schools. I mean, that's a lot of high schools now offer a CCENT program. CCNA is what you really, really want for the business world, which, I mean, people, if you have a CCNA, people go, oh, okay, you know Cisco stuff. Like CCENT, even defining it when you say, well, I'm a Cisco certified, what'd you say? Entry-level network technician. It's like you don't even want to, and forgive the name, but you don't really want to say it because you're like, well, I'm just an entry-level guy, and they go, oh, okay, so yeah, don't give him the keys yet. Whereas the CCNA, they go, okay, he kind of has an idea of what he's doing. He can work with Cisco devices, and by far it is the most popular certification in Cisco to get is the CCNA. So people assume, hey, this guy probably knows his stuff, or this gal knows her stuff in the Cisco realm. And for the most part, as you do, CCNA really hits the tip of the iceberg on most Cisco technology. You get a little of security, a little of NAT, you get a little of routing, a little of switching. Again, it's just I kind of call them the peaks of the mountain. Like if you were to talk about all the different mountain, like routing and switching, CCNA just goes clip, 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 clip across the top. And that's really when you move down to the CCNP, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. You just go down the mountain. You just fill in all the gaps that CCNA left, and really master a lot of the technologies. So who needs a CCNA? A lot of people. Now, what I would say is a CCNA is a good on-staff admin. I should finish my sentence, right? Not just a lot of people. Good on-staff admin, to where they do Microsoft, they do Cisco, they do some other stuff, because CCNA is not a full-time, like I'm dedicated Cisco. It's like, okay, I know Cisco, but I have other stuff to keep me busy because Cisco is famous for running for years and years and years without having to really touch it. So CCNA is good, but not a dedicated, like I am 100% Cisco job, except in some, kind of select cases. So a lot of people want a CCNA, and that's why it is the most popular. Now CCNP, I should mention, I would say probably one of the more popular questions people ask me is, how much am I expected to make as a CCNA? And I just, when I get that question, I go, It depends, and I know you can answer any question that way. So I went to the web, and I thought, well, let me just Google it and bring it up. Look at this. An IT network administrator or network engineer look at that range, people. $31,000 to $72,000. Come on. I mean, my friend is a teacher. He's like, yeah, we make between 30, and if we get our master's degree, we can get 40. And we're, I feel very, very bad for teachers and government because So anyway, you kind of really get a good idea. Stop these pop-ups. So you get a really good idea of what people are geared at. But look at that rate. And I mean, a network engineer, that's, by the way, Cisco right there, 42,000 to 87,000. What's the big deal? I mean, why the giant range in salary? It's all one word, and you know it, experience. It's, how much experience do you have in the field? And, some people say, well, can I just go at this with experience alone? Well, sure, you don't have to be certified to get a job, but certification, and I'll refer you back to the previous video I did on benefits of certification. There's just a lot of huge advantages that you get with that. So, it's all experience. So if you're out of the gate, CCNA, I just got it, looking for my first job, I'm guessing you're in the 30s, low 30s. But the more experience you get, you're going to build up quickly because Cisco is it's a very risk-oriented, scary job, but very in demand. So again, check out the benefits on that. So most people, as I mentioned down here, statistically move down to CCNP. Why? Well, it's just the natural progression. Again, you get the clips of the mountains with CCNA, and then CCNP is literally, it's 3 exams, and I'll talk about those on their own slide, route, switch, and T-shoot. They literally fill in the rest of these mountains. Here's the rest of routing, rest of switching, rest of troubleshooting. And at this point, when you have a CCNP, okay, you're looking for a job where you do nothing but Cisco. Maybe you dabble in some Microsoft. Oh yeah, let me help add some users to group. But my main job is doing Cisco. I'm going to set up the VPNs. I'm going to set up the routing for this site. I'm going to work at an ISP. Again, companies that are big enough or specialized enough that they would hire a Cisco certified person. That's the CCNPs. Not most people do not go on past the CCNA. So these are people that now specialize in Cisco. So again, bringing up the pay scales, CCNP, I would say if you go and just pass the exams, you're walking out saying, hey, can I get a job? I have a CCNP. People are going to look at you a lot more seriously than if you had a CCNA, but you can still expect to start probably, low 40s, maybe high 40s if you're lucky, with 0 experience. But again, as you get experience, it goes quick. I mean, really, it goes really quick in moving up the pay scale because